So poops, we know from the Malaysian experience that building a nation is actually kind of hard. Like, it's not easy, especially when you have people from lots of different cultures, heritages, belief systems, worlds kind of gathering together. In many ways, it's not very pretty. I mean, like, the challenge of multiculturalism is really not easy, because like, if you think about it, like, it can very easily go wrong. If one group, for example, just feels somehow that they're being discriminated against, like people are not meeting their needs kind of thing, then that's where you get people complaining, crying, arguing about Christmas, halal certificates, and any number of other things like that. But since today's SG60,
figure I'd talk about that from the point of view of Lee Kuan Yew.
Mr. Lee obviously has created a very successful multicultural society, so I thought it'd be fun to have a look at how the Grand Master handled the same challenge in Singapore. This is an LKY Masterclass in Managing Race and Religion. Malaysia is Malay dominant. We know that to be true, but Singapore is Chinese dominant. How do you create a situation where somehow or another you don't end up oppressing the minority, meaning Chinese, Indians, or otherwise,
no matter what your ethnic composition is?
Let's have a look.
We have got here not by suppressing or pretending that race differences, language differences, culture differences do not exist.
Alright. So he's saying here that we don't pretend that differences don't exist, because like, they are real, they do exist. There are hundreds of different possible permutations of life that I could have gone through, even within my own Chinese family status, to not even say anything about growing up in a Malay household. I can't say that I'm the same as a Malay person, because clearly I'm not. I don't have the same religion, I don't have the same way of life. But anyway, we accept that this difference exists.
But that they can coexist without the majority obliterating or oppressing the minority. That's how it's been done, Mr. Shah.
Yes, agreed.
Not by trying to make my friend Ahmad Mata and Siddiq Sanif Chinese or honorary Chinese, but by my accepting them as fellow Singaporeans with equal rights, entitled to equal respect.
Alright, now here's an interesting point. Like, if you're part of the majority or the privileged group, so to speak, I guess it's very easy for you to just assume that everybody needs to follow your way of life. Which could be, for example, eating only halal food, for example. Or if we flip the thing around, then it's like you're forced to eat non-halal because there's no halal restaurants available. But that's not what LKY is saying. He's saying, I don't want people to be honorary Chinese, I want you to be yourselves.
And when they feel differently and they want to eat separately from me, I respect that. That's how it's been done. Not by pretending it doesn't exist, but by accepting the fact that there are fundamental primeval differences and telling each other we have to live, put up with each other, accommodate, compromise, bargain, compromise again. That's how it's been done.
And so yeah, like, here we are. We acknowledge differences, we don't deny them, because they are fundamental, primeval. If we try to pretend that they don't exist, that's kind of pointless, because do I go up to someone who is obviously Malay in Malaysia with a Malay name, knowing that according to the constitution, a person who is Malay is also a Muslim, and then ask them, do you want to go to church with me? No, I don't. Do I say, hey, you want to go for a pork barbecue with me this weekend? No, I don't. I need to understand, respect, and act out my respect for the fact that they are different from me, they can't eat what I can eat, and they have a different value system. Which, if I've spent any time living in this country at all, then I will surely know. Masterclass point right here, we accept that people are fundamentally different from us. Like, you come from a completely different religious upbringing, academic upbringing, the way you live, choose, who you meet, what language you speak may be different. We respect people that we know live in a completely different way from us. As long as they're not interfering with us, they're not infringing into our rights, they're not causing difficulty to us, then we don't interfere. Because that's just the way it is. And like for me, for example, like, I'm happy to go for friends' weddings, for example, where every single person is Muslim. I expect that because you're Muslim, because you're having a wedding, you're going to do dua. I don't complain if you don't wish me Merry Christmas because you don't want to do any number of things that you consider to be pantang. What we expect is just that we let people be who they are. We don't try to change them, we don't try to fight against their identity, we don't say, you need to stop being a Christian, Muslim, atheist, or anything that somehow doesn't jive with our own personal value system, because somehow or another, we learn to live and let live. Point number 2, I don't force them to assimilate with me. Now, I'm Chinese, but even if I were dominant, that wouldn't mean that I go around to other people and say to them, Hey, stupid ah, never learn Chinese. 怎么你不跟我讲华语的嘞？你知道吗？中国现在经济发展，做工的话你一定要学华语啊。切 No, I don't. It doesn't work that way. I don't try to black skin, white mask you into somehow accepting my identity. And I don't think you'd want me to pretend either, so I can sell you a bunch of stuff that you don't need on TikTok, so yeah. Point number 3, mutual respect and equal rights. As someone who's Chinese, I expect equal legal standing and dignity and respect from other people. I don't expect to be called pendatang, but in the same way, I don't call you a pendatang either. It's kind of like how on WhatsApp, if you have a blue tick to show red receipts, then you get to see the red receipts of somebody else. But if you choose not to do that, then you're not entitled to it. Because you see, it's fair, right? Respect is earned, it is not given. But in the very first place, you must give in order to receive. It's very hard to respect people who don't respect you. And I think that more people should be just aware of that on a sort of basic and fundamental level. That sometimes it just feels to me isn't really present in society, because you have a whole lot of rude people who go out and then start screaming pendatang, pendatang, and they never actually try to understand anybody else's experience. Maybe they're acting out, just being angry, or whatever. Social media is amplifying it, but the point is, somehow or another, it needs to stop, whether people rein them in or because it's the law. That respect is fundamental, and it's something that we need to normalize. And lastly, point number 4, we need to accommodate. I think most of us, we don't like certain things that other people choose to do. For example, right, as a non-Muslim, you probably won't like it if somebody goes up to you and says, Semoga mendapat hidayah. Because like, who do you think you are? Why do you think that somehow what you learn is a form of wisdom that is superior to what I learn about? Why do you need to glorify your God over what I have chosen to believe in? So, because we know very clearly, right, that that's something that people don't like, so it makes sense to not talk to them about religion or some of those other topics as well. In the same way, if I know, for example, right, that a Muslim friend has to fast, right, then yes, I as a non-Muslim, I have the right to eat during Ramadan or whatever, right? But I don't intentionally go out to my friend and then say, I'm gonna have the most delicious meal possible, lemang, curry chap, quarter pounder, sashimi. That's not how it's done. I respect the fact that you are fasting. It's a religious obligation for you. I may eat in front of you if I need to. But yeah, I mean, like, I don't go out and then intentionally offend your sensibilities. In the same way, you shouldn't expect me to go out and then get a halal certificate no matter what the situation is. And you also shouldn't be saying that Muslims don't need to get halal certificates because Muslims definitely can prepare food in the correct way. No. Again, it goes back to point number 3, which is about mutual respect and rights. Fair is fair, and if you want to make sure that people give you respect, then you need to give that respect as well, and it needs to be a compromise, a bargaining. Anyway, so that's Lee Kuan Yew's masterclass on managing race and religion. Mr. Lee Kuan Yew, you are a legend. People have learned from you and they will continue to learn from you for many, many years to come. It was an honor to learn from you today, and I hope that all of you out there who are watching this found something valuable in what we shared today. But what do you think, Sepupus? Do you feel that there are some other tips that you give to our government or to our society in dealing with race and religion, especially in a society like Malaysia or any other multiracial, multicultural society? Well, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. That's all to say about that, and bye.